So the first thing we need to know is up here, our workflow. And our workflow here, you'll see there's two specific things, as drawing and task navigation. They determine our tabs over here. Now, you'll see that we have some tab, we're now on the home tab, but there's also the view, annotate, attach, and so on and so forth tabs in the drawing workflow. Now, depending on the tab, it also has its own ribbon. And here we have our first basic tools for Microstation. Now, here is our attributes tool where we can select our level, our line thickness, and so on. Then we have our primary tools, which is like level manager or attaching different files, like and then our selection tool where we have our element selection, fence tools, then our placement tools, so the basic line commands, polygon tools, and so on and so forth. We have multi-line tools, we have manipulate tools, we have our move, copy, move parallel, our modify tools where we can break elements, trim elements, and even delete elements, or even change their attributes to match other elements. And then our groups tool where we can create complex groups of elements. Now, the properties tab here is a very, very important tab for Microstation. Depending on the tool that you have, in this case, element selection is our command that we've chosen. You'll have the command settings options here. So in this case, you'll see I can select individuals, I can select the block, shape, I can choose to add to my selection or subtract my selection. So these are all the settings that are allowed in this particular thing. So if we are to press on play Smartline, you'll see that it gives us options for segments, a vertex, and then whether or not we're joining the elements, so to create a multi-line. In this case, it's drawn, rotate AccuDraw, start in line mode, and so on and so forth. So these are the options for it. Now, if you go on the bottom left here, because we have the place Smartline command selected, it'll tell us what to do. It says play Smartline, that's a command, and then enter your first vertex. So we have to left click somewhere on the screen we want to start. So let's say here, and we will draw anywhere we want. So it says enter next vertex or reset comp. Now to reset comp, what it basically means is if you right click, it resets the command. So remember, instead of the escape button, you right click on Microstation, and then if I left click again, I enter the first vertex. So let's enter the next vertex, which is here, then the next one down here, and the next one down here. I can even press enter, and that locks the direction. So if you press enter and press it again, you see it will lock the direction where this AccuDraw is called, the closest direction that it's pointing to. Right? We want it this way. This way we can be very accurate as to how far we draw things. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to select these and I'm going to delete them. I'm going to draw a line properly. So if we left click here, and you see the distances down there. They're arbitrary now, we'll go into them a little bit later, but let's just say if we type in 20, you see down there on the X, it locks the X direction to 20. And if I left click again, I'll go there, and then we go 10, and again, locks that on the Y axis. And then in this case, we want to go this way. We can press enter and just accurately draw like that. Okay, so now we have a rectangle that is 20 by 10, and because in our when placing Smartline we have join elements, it is actually just one element. Remember, we can break element, we can do whatever we want to it, but in this case we just want to just create a solid rectangle. Now, what else can we do? Well, let's see if we can copy it. So it will give us some options again. Copy 1, use fence is grayed out. We don't have fence, so don't worry about that. So the number of copies you want to do, and so on and so forth. But in this case, we just want to make one copy of this element here. So it says here, identify the element. Now, similar to AutoCAD, if you left click, to keep the left click pressed, you'll see this particular selection tool, which means that I have to go and whatever's inside of it as a full element, it will select. And if I go to the other side and there's dotted ones, it means that whatever overlaps with this, it will select. If you press Shift, it toggles between them. So you don't have to go on the left side or right side. You can just toggle between them when you press Shift. So now, because I'm overlapping there, I can just select this. And then again, let's go back, Control Z. And then it just says enter first point. So what does that mean is, where do I want to copy it from? I want to copy it from this end here. And then it says enter point to define distance. Now I can type manually the distance in any direction I want. Remember, you can press enter and you can lock the direction. So we'll lock the direction here, and let's copy it 30 units this way, and just left click. And then you can just continue repeating the command if you want, or right click to reset the command. And there we go. Now we've reset it. Now there are shortcuts to everything here you see in the commands. You don't have to go up here and press them. To see the shortcuts, if you press the space bar, these are pop-ups, right? So that's your shortcuts. You can press, it says here, copy E. You can either press the space bar and just press copy, and it says copy element command, or if we press E, no, spacebar E, there we go. If you press spacebar E, you'll select the particular command. So that's a shortcut. And if we go back to the shortcuts, if we go spacebar, you see that there's loads of them as well. And in the middle row here, we have the copy, generally the manipulate tools. You only have to do spacebar and one button, but in the top ones, so you have like placement or anything like that, there are pop-down menus where you have, okay, so I have place line and place smart line, or arc tools, which is A, polygons P, and so on and so forth. So if I wanted to get to it, I have to go, first press space, then I have to press number 4, which is the placement, and then from number 4 I can use A, and then from A I can select what kind of arc I want to do. Now for people who are really fast at this, they'll just do it instantly. They'll just go like space 4 and then A and select, for example, or space 4P and then a place line. So these are shortcuts, obviously. Just remember that at any point, if you press space, you'll be able to see all the shortcuts that are available to you. Right click resets them. Right, so the other thing we have to look into is our preferences. So if we go into File, and we go into Properties. Actually, no, let's not do that. Let's go into File, Settings, and then we go down here, which is called, now there are User System File Settings, and so forth. But we're going to Preferences down here, and then we can see our different preferences. This is our back office type stuff. So things like our inputs, and then whether we want it orthogonal and so on and so forth. So these are things that are generally just set at the start. What we can do though is add this, instead of going this way, we can add our preferences as a quick navigation tool. And I will show you how to do that. So if we go up here in our quick access toolbar, so all these things here, and we press customize quick access toolbar, and we just customize it here, we can select anything we want. So if we just press on one of them, just press P to go down here, we'll find the preferences right there. Here we go, and just add that there, and we can add it wherever we want. We can add it after we can add it wherever we want. We can remove it, and we can just drag it in like that and just add it straight to there, for example. There you go. And then we apply it, and then once we apply it, you will see it pop up there. So it's easy for us to access. So if we press it now, there we go. Now we know where to find that. Now, if we go into these are the different other settings that you can find in here. So your preferences, your keyboard gestures, function keys, button assignments, AccuDraw settings. So AccuDraw settings will be your settings where it allows you to accurately draw. And so when you're locking directions and things like that, you can change some of these settings. Even the display in the file, you can change the design settings of the file. So the units, working units, is an important one as well. So in this case, our master unit is meters, but we want it to be in millimeters. Right, so we're going to be working in millimeters, and we press OK. So if we go back, this has now been reset into millimeters. So if we go here and we draw a line, you'll see that it says 20,000, where previously we had it at 20 because we had it as meters. So now it's in millimeters. It's 20,000 millimeters. So we've set our units as millimeters, and we've used some commands. So yeah, now let's continue on and see how other things work.